Hey there, I'm so excited you landed on my channel. If you are looking to cut your spending in half this month, this is a video you're definitely going to want to watch. So, hi, I'm Eleanor. I work as a money and mindset coach, and I'm all about helping you implement the quick shifts that you can make with your mindset, your strategy implementation when it comes to all things money and mindset, along with bringing more ease and pleasure into your financial management, whether that be on the personal side or the business side. So, I think that this can be a hugely transformative tool for you to go ahead and cut your spending in half. This is what I literally just did last month. So, I want to invite you into this new way of um, reclaiming money so that you can achieve your financial desires and goals faster. So if you are excited or if you find this video helpful, go ahead and leave me a comment, like the video. It always helps the algorithm. Or if you really enjoy this content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can go ahead and get notifications whenever new money chats pop up. See you. Hello, hello. Thanks so much for joining me for this week's money chat. This week, I want to talk all about the way, I'm reflecting on how I cut my spending in half last month. So, last month, I ended up cutting my spending in half through using a really simple technique that I think is probably going to be a no brainer to a lot of us. But the way I'm going to invite you into it is what's unique. So, what me and my partner decided to do last month was we decided to give ourselves permission to do more take-in. And what we mean by this is that, don't get me wrong, right? Like, if you follow me at all on social media, you know I like dining out. You know I like coffees out. You know I like pastries out. You know, dining out is not something which I cut out of my monthly budget or financial plan. And I also know that both of us were, when we were reflecting on our spending, we were realizing that it was starting to feel out of alignment. Especially for me, because that's who I'm going to speak to in this situation, right? It was like, oh, I'm not happy with how much of my money is going to take out, right? Whether that be delivery service or dining out. Predominantly delivery service. So there was a couple things that I decided to do. Number one, I canceled my DoorDash subscription. And just was like, okay, well, let me just do some pleasure research here, some ease research, and just discover how good does it feel to not have that available to me anymore? And what are the ways that I'm going to do to still obviously allow myself to have takeout, right? This is where the take in came into play here. So we were talking about our meal planning and we just decided to be like, okay, well, let's just incorporate more take in. Let's give ourselves permission to, in our grocery shopping, purchase pre made food, right? That pre made food being, we're Trader Joe's fans. So it's Indian dinners or frozen pizzas or orange chicken or chicken teriyaki, right? Deciding to be like, okay, we know that, when it comes to certain days throughout the week, both of us are exhausted and we might not have the energy to make a full meal, right? Or just the weekends come and it's just kind of like, we don't want to put more effort into cooking. And so we gave ourselves permission to actually include this in our meal planning, right? And the reason why this was so transformative is because yes, our grocery spending did go up for the month. However, our dining out decrease was way more significant in comparison to the increase that happened with our grocery spending, right? So giving ourselves the permission and making it mean nothing about our health plan, mean nothing about um, our decision to, what we decided to say okay, this doesn't mean we have to feel guilty or shameful about oh, how healthy are we eating or how well we're managing, our grocery shopping. Or when I started sharing this exercise with my clients, it was like, this doesn't mean that you're a bad mom. This doesn't mean that you've made mistakes in how you've been managing meal planning or taking care of your family or your kids or anything like that, right? It doesn't mean anything about that. It's actually full permission to go ahead and have more take-in meals planned into your financial plan and into your meal planning, which then allows you to reclaim money in this really beautiful way, right? That's what happened for us. And so I really want to invite you into maybe this month testing out what that feels like for you, giving yourself permission of like, okay, like when it comes to those like, frozen food sections, and I've been wanting to try a couple of these like pre-done meals. We're like, our favorite is Trader Joe's. It's more affordable than most places, number one. Number two is they don't do artificial dyes or preservatives or things like that. Not artificial preservatives, but like artificial coloring dyes and like weird additives. Like that's just a policy of Trader Joe's. Those are like things that they don't accept in their products. So like that aligns with what we want. And so I really want to invite you into like going ahead and seeing like, oh, okay, where can we give ourselves permission in our meal planning to actually combat those feelings of like when we do feel exhausted when we come home from work or we stop our work day or we just have a lot going on and it's like I don't feel up to making a whole full meal. And so can we give ourselves permission to do a little bit of take in and like enjoy it and like be like, oh my gosh, this was so fantastic and like impressively delicious. And we weren't expecting it to be that way, right? Not that I'm saying like most frozen food's bad. It's just that like I think it's been a delightful surprise over the previous month for us to test out different take in pre-done meals and giving ourselves permission to just like have that ease come through. I think also Trader Joe's has some really beautiful like healthier options. If you really don't want to do frozen food, you can they have like these like already cooked chicken breasts that you can like pop in the microwave for like a minute or two and like then they're heated up and you can serve that over salad or rice or like whatever it might be, right? But what I'm saying is like what does it look like to give yourself permission to let go of the guilt or the shame of like buying pre-done food and actually incorporate that into your financial planning, actually incorporate that into your meal planning, make it mean nothing about your health plan, make it mean nothing about how good of a, mom you are, how good of a parent you are, how good of a partner you are, like whatever it may be, like make it mean nothing about that and just be like, oh, I'm going to take this month to experiment what this feels like for me. If this feels good for my body, if this feels good for my wallet, if this feels good for our meal planning and actually pulls back, right? The like decision fatigue that I think we can really get into when it comes to, being like, okay, I'm managing the meal planning, I am making the dinners, I'm doing the cleanup, right? Like all of that decision making and all of those like choices and, honestly, just energetic effort, right? That comes into that aspect is like, oh, can I pull that back? Can I relax that a little bit for myself? And so I really want to invite you into that this month. So let me know if you have done a take in challenge before, whether it be for a week or a whole month, or if you are committing to a take in challenge this month, because I will tell you, it cut my spending in half last month and I couldn't believe it, right? And don't get me wrong, it's not like I just stopped going out, right? One of the final weekends of September, I became pastry obsessed because I was trying to get these like Instagram pastries and I was like so excited about them. And so it led me to go to the same cafe 3 days in a row. And on the third day, they weren't sold out. I got there early enough. But that entire weekend culminated in me spending practically $100 at a cafe, in total over 3 days. So it was like, don't get me wrong, you're 100% allowed to dine out. You're 100% allowed to keep those things in your financial plan. And I want to invite you into what would it feel like or what would it be like for you to, flirt with this new way of considering take-in and this new way of considering, your meal planning and your budgeting and what that looks like in your financial plan. So if you enjoyed this, definitely give me a like, leave a comment, let me know what some of your favorite take-in meals are. Ours in our house is like Indian dinners all the way. Like they are something that is so delicious from Trader Joe's. They're just so easy to make and like they're really filling and enjoyable and I absolutely love them. Another one, of course, is the classic orange chicken from Trader Joe's, which is amazing and I think has like a cult following on the internet. So If you're not familiar with that one, you definitely should check it out. Um, and of course, I mean, I've done also this same behavior with my pastries, right? So there are tons of like frozen pastries that are now coming out. So like, don't get me wrong, I love going out for a pastry. And I also give myself permission to go ahead and buy a box when I go grocery shopping of chocolate croissants or, almond croissants or plain croissants or cheese croissants. Like they have so many now. And I give myself permission for that so that I can just have them when I want. And I allow myself that permission to flirt with luxury in this different way, rather than potentially I get one box for $5 rather than one croissant for $5. Because let's be real, I live in an urban area, and really $5 for a chocolate croissant is what you're going to be paying at cafes these days. So I can get a box of four. They, rise overnight and are delicious. And I give myself permission to flirt with that luxury and to have more take in as I start to consider some of my other financial desires and goals, right? Like, I think that as we get clear on our financial goals, we don't have to say that we're limiting ourselves in like, oh, I don't, I feel like when we get clear on financial goals, what a lot of people in the financial industry do is they're just like, okay, you need to make dinner at home. But what people think when they hear that is that you need to make a meal from scratch, right? And you need to have the meat, the potatoes, the, vegetables. It has to be this perfect square meal. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't take your health into consideration. Of course, do that. I'm saying, though, what would it look like to give yourself permission that you're allowed to achieve your financial goals, and the alternative off the menu option that a lot of financial coaches or money coaches don't necessarily talk about, because they're just like, oh, well, decrease your eating out, like decrease your spending on eating out, like cut that out. And it's like, yeah, but then the alternative is that we think we need to make everything from scratch. And that's not actually true. So I want to invite you into this off the menu option, which is more taken, right? Going ahead and checking out some of the frozen food section, checking out some of the pre-made meal section, and seeing, oh, actually, can I reclaim some of my money this month, especially heading into the holiday season, right? And we're starting to just increase our spending for the holiday times, and going ahead and checking out, okay, like how can I reclaim some of this money so it becomes a little less stressful, a little less pressure as I go ahead and move into this part of the season and reclaim some of that money in a different way. So let me know in the comments if this resonated with you, if you are down for a challenge of take in for the week, for the month, for a couple weeks. Just see how it is, right? See what happens with your financial plan, see the money you reclaim. I think this has been really transformative for myself, and it's something that I'm going to continue to pursue this month. As you know, I'm not someone who's going to deny myself. So, like, of course, if I want to go out and get a pastry from a cafe or go out and get a coffee, I'm going to. If I want to go out to dinner, hell, I went out for lunch today, right? I think there's that like permission giving that we need to give ourselves. And it's about letting go of that guilt, that shame of how we're choosing to spend our money. And when we let go of that, that's when these off the menu options come in, right? We start to see other ways in which we are able to achieve our financial goals because we release the shame and guilt. We're now open to new opportunities, new ways of perceiving things, just other options that we couldn't see before because the shame and guilt were clouding our vision. So I want to invite you into releasing that guilt and shame, whether it be, oh my gosh, I'm not a good parent because I won't be making X, Y, and Z meals. Oh, I'm not staying on my, budget because like I told myself I'm going to cut out dining out. And that's like, I shouldn't be then like, I should be making all these meals from scratch, or, oh, I'm falling off whatever meal plan or health things. I think there's lots of options out there. So I want to invite you into that. Let me know how it lands in the comments. If you enjoy this, go ahead and give me a follow and join me again for next week's money chat as we just talk through different mindsets, different strategies, different ways to approach your finances that can really transform your life right through mindset, strategy, and implementation. So with that, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.